Okay, what's up, guys? It's me, Storm, here in the OG Morph. Got Auvidence here as well. Auvidence, say hello.
Hello.
Yeah. So what we're doing today is we're doing a tour of the 2017 Skaro. So this was the first ever Dalek game I joined in the genre, and this is from TDE, which is very interesting. So this is like from when I first joined. So this is my morph that I was in at the time, and then this is Auvidence's old Emperor morph.
Yes,
So.
the very old one.
But yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go through the ranks first and just kind of go through the overview of the game with the maps and stuff. I think what we're also going to do is we're going to talk about the history a little bit, both new and old. So that should be good. And I don't know, is there anything else? I guess
I
we'll
think
just
that
kind of
covers it.
improvise. Yeah, I guess we'll
Yeah.
just kind of improvise a bit. But yeah, this should be very exciting.
Skaro, this is the first Skaro ever made, which goes back to 2015. And then we made like other Skaro. There's temporary Skaros, there's the new Skaro, there was a few other maps that were sort of related. But this is the OG Skaro, the one that we use, the one that has the most amount of visits.
Yeah, I think it's 32K, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been sitting at 32K since it was closed.
That is crazy. That's insane. Like thinking back, so like where it started as well, because there used to just be 5 people that played this game, and then it just kind of skyrocketed. And I think our peak activity was 40 members, like all in game. I think at one point we had two
Oh,
servers. At one point we had 2 servers running.
yeah, I must have not been around when that was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember at the peak, like before the start of April, constant activity. The game was updated like every other day, actually every day, I think. I didn't agree to all the updates, but I won't get into that.
Oh my God, yeah. I could get into that about the. We won't get into it yet, but you know
Yeah,
my stance on this beautiful blue casing and what happened to my science division. I don't
yeah,
mind it, but I do miss the blue color scheme. This is definitely my favorite OC color scheme.
yeah. It's the original Science Chief, which I think it was the first rank morph that I actually made for a division.
Yeah, but this is the first what for the science division.
Well, for divisions, the
Yeah,
chief scientist I think was the first division morph.
huh, that's awesome. That's insane.
I remember this font. I think I picked it off of Studio, but it looks so good for just basic Dalek stuff. And then here we got the ranks that were available at the time. And of course, there were no division rooms, none of that. It was just kind of all in the same room. Since this whole morph area was very much inspired by the old Star Wars groups that I was a part of, like Galactic Empire or Grand Army of the Republic. But this was, a very simple, dumbed down version of it.
It's interesting though,
So
because we still apply that logic now of the new era.
drone morph. We have the Dalek Guard, which was a part of, the Guard division, which this was, of course, the color scheme is based off of the Chase. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. Might as well make use of that.
Yeah, I love it. I love the color
The,
scheme.
I'm not sure where I got the navy morph idea. It's just sort of that idea of gold and dark red feels very Imperial Navy like.
I had to dig this one up. Not this file, but when I was making the new morphs, I had to like kind of go back to find out what the officer one looked like for the Navy, because obviously we used
Mm,
something very similar. That's the thing. Like when we show like the new game as well, it's going to be so interesting because the reason I wanted to do the old one first was because you can like once you watch this entire video, you'll be able to kind of appreciate both, if that makes sense. But yeah,
yeah.
anyway, as you were, sorry, I just want to now and then I'm just gonna
Yeah.
add, but obviously you lead because this is mostly your game to be fair. I'm just a guest here.
Yeah, so we got the task force leader. That was, with the white eye bobble, whatever that is. The end of the eye stalk. And that's, of course, based off of Invasion of Earth, with the
Oh
task
yeah,
force leaders, I think it were. So that's why that's a thing.
that was in the lore as well. I remember we had the on the timeline because this was invasion era, wasn't it? Or
Yeah,
just
this was right before Invasion of Earth.
pre-invasion?
You'll see later with like the spaceship and stuff. But
Nice.
it's why we currently have the Mark One version of the Dalek.
Awesome.
And then the Dalek officer, it's just like, oh, red is an officer color, so that's just what color it's going to be. I don't think it's based off of anything. It just might have been like something that came from Star Wars. Red is whichever. I think that's Sergeant or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's very bold and striking personally. I think red in general is quite a bold color.
Yeah, since it's a very bold red, it feels very classic.
Yeah, I agree.
And of course, it wouldn't come out since uh, black and white TV, but it seems like something that would be in like color TV. It'd be like that bold red next to the dark blue and stuff. And then we have the task force leader, which this is just the Dalek scientist. But this and the Dalek scientist are based off of what's that?
Was it Destiny
Um,
or
it
Destiny
was
ones?
the Pertwee episode,
Oh, right. The
Death to
one
the
oh,
Daleks.
Death to the
Yeah,
Daleks, that was it, right? Not Destiny,
yeah.
Death.
So this was like the color scheme for the task force leader, except for the white eye stalk that I added on. But the red light, I think, was the task force leader, and then the one with the
Nice.
white light was just the Daleks, since it was a scientist outpost on Exxon or something like that.
Yeah. I quite like that though. I quite like how um it really did retain the lore back then with the designs and
Yeah,
stuff.
I dug deep into the lore for all the designs.
Well, I mean, if you put these two together, this is essentially what the science division used to look like.
Yeah,
So,
and I'll probably get. Uh, I'll try and remember my inspirations for the HR morphs when we get to that.
awesome.
And then Emperor's Guard is self-explanatory.
Oh yeah. I mean, everyone's
Yeah,
familiar
he'll
with this
evil the
one.
Daleks and all that.
Yeah. One of the most simplistic, but also like the best designs, I think, for Classic Who, because they
Oh yeah,
kind of they serve the purpose so well. They're like they have the black dome to signify that there's security, but also like they were on point. I'd love to see more of these guys in action. I wish they did more. I guess in like I don't know. I always thought like the Emperor's Guard were very unique in certain aspects. They were even in Partners of the Waste, which I found interesting.
yeah, with the black domes there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't ever have like a whole lot of Emperor Guards back in the old TDE. Actually, I
Hmm.
don't think there were. There was like maybe two or three, and they were. It was rarely a thing that happened.
Yeah, that's understandable.
The HR morphs.
Yeah. Oh, for context, I deleted all the doors viewers. So if it seems like there's gaps in these doors, it's because I went into F3X and this is the building tools. It's called F3X, and I just kind of went and deleted the tools because every time we tried opening it, we just kept like dying. So
Yeah, nowhere we're gonna fix all the scripts for that, but
yeah, I
this
would be here
was
forever. Oh
these
wow.
aren't the morphs that were really used back during this point. This was like a single update that I think I had these on. But security chief, chief
Oh,
scientist, those were I think temp morphs.
I found it.
Uh,
I found it. Look, if you come over here. This wound up so many people. This like just this one. Do you see it? Where my cursor is on for the viewers, that's where it's metallic. I think it's either metallic or smooth. You see where it's like the rest is glass, and then that one there. I think I can point to it. Oh, never mind. That's not
oh,
what I did.
that, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember that
Yeah,
I got so many comments about that, and it was just I and like if I was to ever like do a color scheme of this in like IRL for a custom Dalek, I would keep that detail in. Like I'd use like
oh
a
yeah, it
a
feels
dark gray for that, and then
authentic.
just yeah, it does, and it's just kind of it's like
It's a
a
classic
small
Who kind of blunder.
yeah, it's kind of like a small inside joke with the science division because a lot of us like I know people from the science division would remember this, where it was just like people would always be like, "You really need to change that spheres," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll get around to it." And it was just I don't think I did. I think it's in the old science lab that I changed it eventually. But
Security chief. Uh, I never really liked this. I liked the old scheme, but it just didn't look like an HR morph. We'll show the old morphs, like the one that Starm is wearing, but uh, Navy General, this is just, a full colored version of the Navy morph in general. No pun intended.
looks a bit like Dalek Zeg. I don't know if that's the inspiration, but that's what it reminds me of.
Hmm.
I did
Yeah.
notice this bit underneath, because I mean that's crazy. Back then, and it's with mine as well. Back then, wasn't that like a union or part of the? I think it was either parts or meshes. I know back in the older models, it was like a huge like it was a very huge hybrid back then. Whereas now it is mostly like either mesh or mesh and union. But there's
Yeah.
also
Since there
parts and
was
stuff.
like, I know a few of the parts in this are parts, and then most of it was mesh. But yeah, that single part under there, I always forgot to recolor it when I was doing the morph. So you'll see that occasionally.
Yeah, I did the same with science division as well, where a lot of the times I'd do the top half and then you kind of like because of the angle. So in studio for the viewers, I'm just going to point up at the camera, but from this angle when you're in studio looking up, you don't really see the bottom. So you think you've recolored it all and then you zoom out, and most of the time you didn't really spot it. But yeah, it's just a small detail that I find interesting. You know, something I do find interesting. Sorry, I do try not to waffle too much, but like with the mesh, a lot of mesh work was done with the skirts, and I think I've only ever met two or three people that have done like the actual skirt mesh, like union, like the skirt union instead of mesh. And I've never done it, so I think that's
Well, I
just
mean, I've done it.
yeah, the amount of skill it takes though, because you kind
It's
of
not easy.
yeah, I can imagine it's not easy.
I'd give an
It's
example, but there's nothing like that on this game.
well, there is if you think about it.
Well, there
Or is
are
that mesh? I don't know if that
those
was
were
mesh.
parts.
Oh, those were parts.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it
all right.
uses triangles instead of
Sorry, we're
unions.
getting ahead of ourselves. I apologize.
I think I forget if the overseer picked out this color scheme. I think I asked about it, and that was what we decided on. So just a basic black and silver, so it stands out a bit.
Yeah.
Helps that we're doing this in color because, of course, if this were back in the '60s, like no one's gonna know.
Yeah, if this was in black and white, no one would really have a clue.
Then
It
Black
will just
Dalek,
blend.
that's just the Black Dalek was pretty much like a high commander rank. So it went, Overseer, then Black Dalek being in control of Dalek commanders. In Dalek commanders, there's only like that slight difference there. I wanted to do, alternating skirt colors, but we just didn't have the parts to do that back then.
That's very interesting. As in what
And then the Navy commander.
the script would change the colors of the spheres like as a toggle effect, or is in just like the
Oh no,
way.
the skirt panels.
Oh,
Alternate, kind of like the saucer commander.
oh right, okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, similar to
It's like
the
saucer
new ones.
commander, Dalek commander. I wanted that sort of blend with the lore again, but
Okay,
we
that's
just
very
didn't have
interesting.
the
I think I
yeah.
have
So
this. I think I have one of these. The one you're on about. I think I have that on my in my collection, which is interesting.
and
And
then the Navy commander is just a reflection of the Dalek commander. Same midsection, same color distribution.
yeah, it's still one of my favorite color schemes. I think red and gold and blue and gold work so well for Dalek color schemes.
Oh yeah, and if you want, you can put on the old chief scientist morph here.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll change. Quick costume change.
Yeah, quick costume change.
Yeah, well this one here. So I'm gonna put the other one on to wind everyone up about that. Now that I've pointed it out, I think everyone's gonna start noticing it, which is gonna be kind of fun. But
Yeah,
yeah, so this was like the original Dalek, well yeah, original Science Dalek Chief, and then
yeah,
this
that
one
was
was the one I think that one there was the one I was more well known in,
yeah, that's the one.
but this
Yeah,
is the
you're
one I
well known. I
started
think
in.
that one you probably either started or it might actually be pre you.
I think I
I guess it
start no,
depends on.
I recall the reflection, so I think I did start in this one and it for like a day or two, and then moved on to that one. I remember that one
Oh,
was a
that makes
recent update
sense.
because we back then we were changing a lot of morphs back then. Oh, what the hell? That was an interesting respawn sound.
Oh yeah, that was the probably one of the Dalek. Oh, it's who knows? It was one of the guns.
Yeah, yeah, I love this. I
And
love
so
how
that's the
reflective it is as well.
yeah, that's the high-ranking morphs. There's some high-ranking morphs above the spawn, but we can look at that later.
Of course.
Yeah, so we got the VIP room. So this was, I think the VIP is still up on the old Skaro map, like the actual purchasable. It's like 100 Robux. It had a bit more morphs than this by the time it got popular, but these were the morphs that were available at the time. And I really like these morphs. I wish I could like make a proper Dalek Empire with these, or at least this color scheme, because this red, purple, green one.
Yeah.
This is based off of a Dalek T-shirt.
Dalek t-shirt, really?
Yeah, I had this
Wow.
Dalek T-shirt with like a TARDIS and these Daleks like around it. I was like, oh, that's a cool color scheme. I'm gonna use that for VIP morph.
No way. Serious? Oh my God, that's awesome. So seriously, that was the inspiration for it.
Yeah, that was
Wow.
where I got it. I took inspirations from like everything.
Nice. I thought my thought was with this one, the green one, it kind of reminds me of the Mentor Daleks, if you recall from Dalek Empire. I think it was like
Yeah,
chapter or season 2 or chapter 1 or something.
I'd never seen like any of the Second Empire or the stuff made by
Big
that
Finish.
modeler at the time.
This is from Big Finish, the audio, because they had
Yeah.
Dalek variants that look similar to like this. I actually said to a friend of mine the other day on Discord that I thought this was the Mentor Dalek. Because you like you've got
Uh,
I know it's from the t-shirt, but you've got like the color scheme pretty spot on in regards to like the different like most common ways the mental Daleks are shown is normally like a green variant of a Dalek, which I'm getting flashbacks to my 2018 Skaro division. I love
yeah,
the
the only big
special.
finish
Oh, go on.
yeah, the only big Finnish Daleks I knew about were actually I think the only big Finnish Dalek I knew about was the time controller. Everything else, n- never heard of it.
Fair enough.
And then there's the special weapons Dalek. I was very proud of this morph because I didn't make the skirt, of course, but I did make the upper body, so the midsection, the gun, all that.
Is it Union work? Is it?
That's Union. Yeah, I made it
Or
big and then scaled it down small.
oh, I remember. No, we actually still have that studio.
Yeah, we do.
That's crazy. That's what that is? I generally
Yeah,
thought you
that's
were
what that is.
making like I thought you were just making one massive like NSD Siege Lord or something. Because of the size of it, I was like, are you
Yeah,
making
I
a
would always build big
a
and then I just
giant
shrink it down.
like a Warhammer Titan or something? I remember
Yeah,
this.
and then this
This
last,
one I
yeah,
remember. So many people wanted this last one.
this is just the
Yeah.
gold Dalek from like Frontier and uh, the other Third Doctor episodes.
I actually have this. But once again, this is one on my collection, and I think I generally probably got this after this game because I remember so
Oh,
many of us wanted this morph because it was VIP and it was like the golden one, It was this one and the
yeah, it
Necros
isn't even like
Imperial.
real gold. It's just
Yeah,
like
but
kind of tan.
it was like this and the Necros Imperial, and I remember so many people wanted like these two, and I remember like when I came across the actual figure, I'm pretty sure that's why I bought it in my collection.
Oh,
I'm kind of gutted I don't have the SWD, but the SWD looks sick. I mean, it even like kind of holds up today, I'd say. I mean, I think it's aged quite well. Because the only thing I could
yeah, I'm
notice was the back detail there with the Union, but honestly, you could get away with that now. I think that
yeah, like
the
I
size is a
noticed that
little
there
bit
are
off. The size
yeah, size is a bit
proportions.
off. The size it's way too small, but
Yeah, yeah, but I do think like for the shape of the
proportionally it's
model.
pretty close.
Yeah, yeah, I think it looks good. I think it's amazing. It's quite nice that you made it a classic color scheme as well.
Yeah,
Oh my
I was
God,
like,
I
oh, this
just
will fit in with all the Daleks.
look at my eye. Do you remember this glitch? I don't know if you can
Oh
see it.
yeah,
The viewers should be able to see this. So it was like this would clip. I can't remember what it was. It's like a when you have two materials that are pretty much the same level of,
yeah, they're
well,
on the same layer.
yeah, like
Well, they
kind
have the
of
same
alternate.
coordinates, I guess.
And you flickers. I kind of like it though. It kind of reminds me of like the anime Daleks kind of, the one like the way their eye stalks flickered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit like that. I don't know. It's just an interesting detail. But yeah, I love this morph. Should we show them? Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. I know
Yeah,
you're
so we
about
got
to.
the next part, and this was going to be like a testing ground for a theoretical like next step for the morph room, where instead of having your standard just little morph pads, you'd have these like really grand, large set pieces for selecting the morphs. And of course, you could see here, this was like testing for a morph that wasn't made out of meshes, but made out of toolbox meshes, but union meshes.
Yeah,
So It
It's part-based,
it
isn't it?
yeah, parts unions, union meshes, but
Wow.
it it was trying to get, more control over the color scheme. As you can see, the proportions are a bit off.
I
The
can see what you mean with the panels, like trying to get the panels kind of
Yeah, so that
the
was
details.
an attempt. I for I think this was mostly the overseer's work. I can't
Ah,
remember all the details. I forget exactly when I really started working on trying to do that, but it never went anywhere, unfortunately.
that reminds me, I should probably disclose. Have I already mentioned about the users, or should I disclose that now? I'll disclose that now real quick. Um, we're referring to the users that have created things in this game or done things in this game as the rank they were in the Empire. This is just to protect their security and privacy. However, if people have watched this and they do want their names mentioned, feel free to reach out to Orv and I, and we're more than happy to mention your users. It's the same kind of policy we're going to do for a few of these. I think we've kind of reached out to a lot of old friends from the TDE era, so I'm hoping we'll be able to get the credits and stuff. But for now, we're respecting people's privacy. But yeah, I just wanted to disclose that. That's all
Yeah,
right.
and then of course, as mentioned before, we got the Necros Dalek, which is just a recolored version of the other Dalek over there.
Wow, I remember this. This was the other. The two morphs people fought over was this and the gold one I showed you, like you showed me earlier.
Yeah,
Because this one
so
this one was very popular. Right. Anyway, so yeah, this one was so iconic. Like that one and the other one was really iconic. I love this color scheme with the navy. I always have. And
yeah, so this
obviously,
was just like a test more for the Navy because of course you've seen the Navy over in the other room.
hmm,
So it's like, oh, this is what a regular morph would look like on here.
yeah. And then this is the pilot, I believe, the pilot variant,
Yeah, that was this yeah, the pilot, the saucer commander.
saucer commander. That's it. Which is like that's the one in my collection. So this is awesome. I've actually got. I didn't realize how many I had from my collection in this, which is I don't know. Yeah, just it's kind of funny.
Yeah, so this was back when we did like world-based events. So I'd, make an announcement like, "Hey, look for," well, I'd give like hints for where a special code might be on the map. And that code, if you would send it to me, like DM it to me or something like that, would allow you access to one of these doors. So we had three different events, but I don't think I ever finished the third event. Did the winter event,
Yeah,
I
I did the
believe.
winter event, and that's why this is so iconic because so many people were after this in the winter event. By so many people, I mean I was like three or four, but to me that was a lot of people back then. And
Yeah,
I think I was one of the first to find it, I believe. I think yeah,
probably. And then
because
there's
I was
the
in a
fall
competition.
event.
I was in a competition. Oh yeah, I remember this. Oh, wait. Yeah, sorry. I remember this. This spawned a very iconic screenshot. If you recall, do you recall the iconic screenshot of this where
Uh,
the pyro Dalek and there was like two drones.
probably. I don't remember most of the
Mate,
screenshots,
yeah,
really.
this one was cool. I don't think I did this one though. I think like I did the
No, this
winter
was
one.
before, so
This was
there were
before,
only a
was it?
handful of members who actually got this. There was,
Wow.
well, technically myself. There was the first Dalek who joined the group who also got this. The security commander, well, yeah, the chief security Dalek also had this, and another one of the old officers got this. So it was only like five people, I think.
Wow. So this is like the ultra rare morph.
Yeah, a morph that only like five people ever got to wear.
That's incredible. So
And
it's
then, of
just
course,
this.
it
I
came
love
with
the
the
history. It's
flamethrower.
Oh yeah, I remember this tool. I remember this tool. If it's
I don't
still
think it works anymore,
if
but
it's still the same one I remember, I think I could describe it. So you get the tool, and then you'd be able to have like this fireball, and you'd press this fireball, and it would kind of like launch like this like flame effect, like wherever your cursor
yeah,
went.
and it
Which
was super
which
laggy.
yeah, it's fun in like the theory side of it's fun, but as soon as you like kind of put it in the game, it was like it produced lag, but also it set drones on fire, which
Yeah.
in later games proved very interesting, I should say.
Yeah, so I made the flamethrower piece here with, just basic unions and then stuck it on.
Yeah, which is
I
still
don't remember
this.
where I based it off of. Of course, just based on the flamethrowers from the chase, but I'm not sure where I got the details on this from.
This is still a popular method now with unions. Like I know there's a famous dev in our genre that still does union and part work with these kind of
Oh, hmm.
attachments, and it's really impressive. It's kind of nice now and then seeing like people using that built-in feature with Roblox Studio, because a lot of the times people now will just do mesh, and it is quicker and
Yeah.
easier, but there is a I think there's an art to unions and parts. There's a very much an art towards it. There's an art style towards sometimes the simplicity of it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
since
it's nice.
limits, breeds creativity.
Indeed.
And so
Was
I
there
had,
any in these ones?
yeah, let's see. No.
Both empty, were they?
Yeah, I had plans since there was a New Year's event, but I'm not sure if I ever got around.
Have we
Who
ever
knows what
done a New
happened to
Year's
that one?
event? I don't think we've ever
There
done
was
a
a
New
New Year's
Year's.
event. It was the New Year's for 2018. So,
Oh wow.
going into 2018, there's a New
Oh
Year's
yeah.
event.
Oh, I remember. Dude, was that when we did the Time Lord thing?
I think so. That was when
Oh my
it
God,
was around the
yeah.
time that I was contacted by, the
The
chief
individual.
councilman of Gallifrey.
Yep. I'm not
I
doing
was
another
DM'd
slip
or
up.
something.
I'm not doing another slip up. I'm being dead quiet. But yes, I know who you're on about, and that person, that was awesome. Like when we actually did that event as well, that was super fun. I remember I think it was just you and I, and we had
Yeah,
like,
when we
yeah,
joined Gallifrey. It was just us two. But when they raided Skaro, I think there was quite a few of us then.
yes, I recall that. That was a very, I think that kind of like started to get the ball rolling with those kind of TDM based events. But when it was just you and
Yeah, and that
I,
was a couple updates from here. But
yeah,
yeah,
when it was you and I, when we using like the old Paradigm TARDIS flight, old chunky models, if you remember, like the Union and Part ones. I think it was
yeah,
that, and then we used like the admin and the old. I don't know if I have it. Do I have? No, I don't. I don't think it's. Oh, is it this one? Oh, it's this one. Yeah, and then in the Gallifrey one we had this, and it was that. It was this weapon as well. And for context, when you shoot someone with this weapon, it like destroys the avatar. But I'm not gonna do it because
yeah.
I don't think that'll play well if I exterminate the former emperor of a of a Dalek Empire. I don't think that'll play well.
No, probably not.
Send the wrong message. But yeah, all right. I think is this the all of
Yeah,
the
so that's
morph
the end
sections?
of the spawn room.
Would you like to show the older casings now, and then we'll move on to the map?
Yeah, we can do that. We'll get a little sneak peek at what's actually outside of the morph room because most people don't know where this actually, sits at.
Nice, a small Skaro exclusive.
All right, so here we could see the old uh, security and scientist. I have no idea why chief is swapped on those two. Security chief and chief scientist just sound cooler.
Yeah, very true.
But one thing that I really liked about this old security morph is that it is reminiscent of the guard morph in that it has the same, hemisphere color. It
Oh
has the
yeah.
gold band. It has the colored dome, but it's red because, well, it's a higher rank, so it's red.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It to me it reminds me so much of the advanced armor division or armor
Yeah,
division.
which I'm sure this eventually inspired uh, advanced defense, which was later, of course, redubbed to armored division.
Definitely. I mean, that officer's work with it, with that division as well, that was inspirational to me. So they did a great work.
This was just based off of the evil morph, with there's not too much to say about it. It's just a black Dalek with a bit of yellow, and it doesn't have the eye stalk rings.
I kind of like it. It's like a hybrid between Dalek Sec and the Dalek Emperor. Totally a real Dalek. I'm not a player controlling the Dalek in a simulation. No, 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 no. Don't worry. But what the? It's so, I don't know. It's so cool, but it's like
It's
old but
very
cool.
wonky.
Yeah, it looks like it got damaged.
Yeah, since I made this in 2015, I think.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. Looks awesome. I mean, it looks awesome, but it also looks a bit I don't know. I'm in like two minds. I can see where you went with it. It's
Yeah, because this is, like a
before
third of the actual
meshes.
size. Yeah, I
Yeah.
shrunk this down.
Yeah, when this was like massive.
It
Yeah.
doesn't look that much better.
To be fair, this one hasn't aged like too badly. Still blends in with the Emperor model. No, not model, Supreme model, I should say. But it does kind of remind me of the Emperor model a little bit. Not that one, the other one. But yeah,
Yeah,
what happened
this
with that? Why? I have so many questions.
yeah, so this was the one that the overseer developed, and I mean,
I can see the direction he's going with, but I'm a little bit confused with the. I assume a mutant would have been there, or
yeah,
y-
but you can see there's a reason why you don't recognize this morph.
yeah. But it's awesome. I think this is all just kind of so nostalgic, and I love how like this is what they kind of looked like before, and they to be fair, you didn't have to. I know you guys wanted to use the models made by I want to say the U3 or U4. Everyone knows them a little bit more famously now, but yeah, the kind of like the kind of details you had with this model, you could have gotten away with it personally. I think
Yeah, we could have,
could yeah, I
but we
reckon you could
didn't.
have. No, I know, but I do like the kind of I don't know traditional style of. Hey guys, so this is the end of part one. I hope you've enjoyed. I'd like to personally thank Auvidence. I think you've been amazing with this tour. The amount of information you've displayed is just really informative, and I appreciate it. I know the viewers are going to appreciate it. I'd also like to thank the viewers for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's small little bits of history and just showing an overall appreciation towards TDE and the different kind of devs that have been around within it. So yeah, if anyone's had past fun game experiences within this game from 2017, 2018, or whenever, feel free to comment. I'd love to read through them. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bonjour.